Hello, good evening. Here we are. Broad daylight, 8 o'clock. Just kidding. Anyhow, so this is a new time from now in Yitzhak Hashem until the clock moves back to what it was. B'ezrat Hashem, all the shir will be 8 o'clock, including the shir in the Bres of the Medrash and Motzei Shabbos and so forth and so on. So tonight's shir is Sefer Maisius. So without further ado, let's take a quick look at the text and see where it takes us. So the emperor revealed himself to the son of the Burgher, and the young man fell on him, kissing him and hugging him. And that she, that is the beauty who was present, only disguised, etc., she heard everything. Now, and how the two were talking to one another. We will soon see why she doesn't reveal herself to her father and to her bridegroom. Supposedly, the last piece of the puzzle has fallen into place. But the young man made it his practice to go each day and make a mark on 3 trees. And there, in other words, on these 3 trees, he looked for the note that he got from the beauty, the daughter of the emperor. For there were thousands upon thousands of trees. So he marked 3 trees, which he searched, so that he need not search them again the next day. And this he did every day. Perhaps he would still find the note. The note that she had sent him, which he had lost among the trees. And when he used to come back from there, he came with tears in his eyes because he used to weep when he searched and he could not find. They, that is the emperor and the beauty, asked him, "What are you searching for among the trees? And why do you return with tears in your eyes?" So he told them the entire story, how the emperor's daughter, the great beauty, had sent him a note, how he hid it in one of the trees, and how the storm wind had come and mixed everything up. And now he was looking for it, and perhaps he'll find it. So we see here that the knot is unraveling step by step. He came to the daughter of the emperor himself and told her that he had hid the note, and he couldn't find it, but it was really him, and she wouldn't believe him. And because of that, she herself had to be kidnapped and brought to him. So supposedly, this is the last piece of the puzzle, okay? What more could you want? What better proof could you have that he was the real one? In other words, until now, there could still be some kind of a doubt. Maybe he was one of the other suitors that came and heard the story, and like you have stories about gold diggers that look for sunken treasures and whatever it is. And he heard and he found out that this is what the place is. And maybe the fact that he was kind to the emperor was not a proof that he is the tzaddik emes, but rather maybe he's not the one, so he doesn't really care. He's just an opportunist. So what's he going to do? Going to jump on the emperor and kill him? And what do? That's not what he's supposed to do. Okay. But now he's searching for the note. He's searching for the note and he is crying. That is a whole different kind of level of proof. Searching for the note in on itself is not such a great proof. Maybe, is like, what people go through there. They hear about, the gold, the Magellan's two lost ships, lost whatever it is, and they're going hunting, or a Roman galleon that is sunk in the Mediterranean with a treasure trove of gold. Who knows? But the fact that he's crying for it, who is he faking? Who is he trying to fake out? He doesn't know who she is. He knows who the emperor is. So what is he trying to do? Maybe he's trying to, think that he'll find the note and then somehow he'll get the beauty and the emperor will testify that, yeah, he's the one because he knew about the note and he certainly was crying when he searched for the note. But that's a little far-fetched. But the point is, they said to him, tomorrow when you go to look, we will go along with you. Maybe we will find the note. This is a brand new switch in the narrative here, as we will find. And so they did. They went with him, and the emperor's daughter found the note in the tree. When she opened it, she saw that it was her own note in her handwriting. Okay, so marvelously enough, she's the one who finds it. There were thousands of trees, yet the very first day that they go with him, they find it, and she's the one who finds it. Sorry. That's one issue to talk about. And she thought to herself, if she immediately reveals her identity to him, she would have to put aside her disguise and return to her original attractiveness. And should she again become a great beauty like before, he could collapse and expire. And she desired that it should be done correctly according to traditional practice. That is, she cannot marry him here in the wilderness because she has to have an appropriate wedding. That's a second Indian to talk about. And therefore, she merely returned the note to him and told him that she had found it. He immediately collapsed and became infirm. They revived him and they nursed him back to health. And there was a great joy amongst them. The young man said, what use do I have for the note? Afterwards, will I ever find her? Surely she's not with some king. For he thought that she has been sold by the murderer, as the emperor told him. So why do I need this? Let me spend the rest of my life here. And he went and gave her back the note and said to her, you take the note. You may go and marry her. For she was disguised as male. And she agreed to go. And this is the third issue of the day. Let's try to sort of like expound it and find out what these three inyanim are teaching us. It's a pretty obvious indication that the three trees correspond with the three tefillos that we daven every day. We daven for Beis Hamikdash. We daven to find the Shekhinah. We daven to be able to rectify everything that needs fixing. And the way that this needs to be done is it needs to be done with one's whole heart. You'll notice that when do they ask him, the emperor and the daughter, when do they ask him, what are you doing in the forest every day? Supposedly, there's no reason to ask him. He's the one who's going hunting. He's the one who supplies them with food. He's the one that takes care of them. So, okay, he's going, he's the one in charge. So he's going, maybe, I don't know, maybe he's setting up traps, maybe, who knows what he's doing there. But the reason that they ask him is because he's coming with eyes that are reddened by tears. We can go to shul 3 times a day. And basically it remains what can remain either a very lonely experience. You're going to shul, you're doing what you need to do. I mean, what's the or else it can become like a club, great place where you can find Torah, you can find rejoicing in the company of Jewish people, enjoying their Jewishness. Both these madrigas are very, very important, and they're very, very big. But if you remember, when we learned the story of the prince that was made of precious gems, that the king didn't just want an offspring. In other words, a tzaddik was pchinas bas, pchinas a daughter. He wanted a son. A tzaddik was pchinas ben. And at the time we explained that the difference between a tzaddik pchinas bas and a tzaddik was pchinas ben is that a tzaddik was pchinas bas is a real tzaddik. It's a true, real tzaddik. There's no two ways about it. And he has a besmedrash, and he has yeshivas, and he has koilalim, and he can have chaburas, he can have tishin, and a lot of very, very good things. And when you join, when you join the wagon, the bandwagon, you are traveling, on the road to Yiddishkeit. You're living a Jewish life, Baruch Hashem. But that is not enough. What is necessary is that a tzaddik pchinas ben, when a person is mikorav to a tzaddik who's pchinas bas, as long as you're close to him, you go to the tishin, you hear his stories, you join the chaboros, you join the koilul, you join the yeshivas, whatever it is that you need to do, that you keep on floating. But the minute that you back away, because life is as life does, ultimately, the light that you enjoy with the tzaddik pchinas bas is not your own. You are basking in his glory, which is wonderful. But that's not the tachlis. The tachlis is to come close to a tzaddik pchinas ben, that his job is to make you glow, is to reveal that you are comprised of precious gems. That you should yearn to all these madrigas. I don't know how many of you have had the experience, being involved with El Chayidna, people that are Baruch Hashem, very good Jews. And can ask, do you learn Chassidish Sfarim? A guy looked at me and said, what do you mean learn Chassidish Sfarim? You look into Chassidish Sfarim. What do you mean you learn? What's this to learn in Chassidish Sfarim? Because basically, what do you go? You go up Savot, you go about. Reb Nosson points out this Nakuda. He says that tzaddikim that belong, that stem from what they call the Yichud HaChitzon, and that tzaddikim who stem from what they call the Yichud HaPnimi. Yichud HaChitzon is Bo Shem Kvod Malchus Elolam Va'ed, and Yichud HaPnimi is Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. What does it mean, Yichud HaPnimi? What does it mean, Yichud HaChitzon? What does it have to do with anything? What does it mean, tzaddik comes from here, but tzaddik comes from there? Yichud, as we know, is another word for intimacy. So anybody who is married has two levels of intimacy with his or her spouse. There is something which is called Yichud Pnimi. In Kabbalah, Yichud Pnimi is something that is intermittent, sometimes yes, sometimes no. Yichud Chitzon, the outside, the external Yichud, is constant. To understand it, it's quite easy if you realize, that the husband and wife, the real intimate yichud between them is intermittent, and it's hidden, it's inside. And then you also have yichud achitzon. Yichud achitzon means that she's your wife, or he's your husband. And most of the relations and the interrelation between them, happen around the house. The fact that she is your wife and you are her husband, and so there's food to buy, there's this to take care of, there's that, and this is something which is constant. Obviously, it's much less intense than Yichud Pnimi. But on the other hand, it is constant. There is no time of day where your wife is not your wife. She's always your wife. Whether she talks to you, she doesn't talk to you, whether you go shopping or whatever it is, she's all the time. This is Yichud Achitzon. It's constant. It means that you and your wife are one thing on a constant basis. And of course, the Yichud Pnimi, this is when a person is with his wife on a whole different level. This is totally concealed, and this is intermittent. Sometimes. The tzaddik B'chinas Ben is a tzaddik from Yichud Achitzon. The Rashi explains. Means the basic mission is to keep you on the straight and narrow. It's extremely important. Rabbeinu says that we owe a debt of gratitude to fakers, to fake rabbis, because they keep the people who follow them wearing the traditional levush. For that alone, we owe them a debt of gratitude. It's not a small thing. On the other hand, so that's why when you open up this forum, so what are you finding in this forum? He says a vort here, a vort there, a nice idea, nice this, and so forth and so on. But Noten says that tzaddikim that come from Yichud Pnimi, their Torah is already filled with advice. It's not just informational, it's advice. And the advice is how to wake up, how to deal with the difficulties that you face on a day-to-day basis. And how to strive for HaKadosh Baruch Hu from any place and position that you find yourself in your life. This is a tzaddik B'chinas Ben. When the Mer of the Chabur, remember, they are there, they are serving Hashem, they're burning woods that in the regular place, in places of whatever it is, are worth more than gold, which is dealing with hasagas elakus, that in the regular world is more precious than gold, but they're still, each one has his own, first of all, they all have their own secrets. They don't know who he is. He doesn't know who they are. They don't know who each other is. Each one has his own thing. But the minute that they recognize within him a desire to search for the truth, to search for the note, to search for the Torah, to search for the Shechina, then they all say, okay, we're going to join you. Then they become a Chabura. When they become the Chabura, Rabbeinu says that their power increases exponentially. Because every person that comes to a shir brings his own chelik in the Torah. The shir would be totally different if one of you wouldn't be here. And it would be totally different if somebody else would have been here as well. Because the Torah that is being espoused here, comes from the tzaddik emes according to the neshama of the people who listen, which is me and you. I simply happen to be the one who does the talking. But I am in need as much as you are. No different. Of just being Baruch Hashem around the block a little longer, around Oyev Hashem. So I heard some things, I can give it over to you. That's it. The minute that they see that he cares, it's not just a club. Oh, I love going to that shul. They have a gewaldige kiddush. They sing wonderfully. There's a gewaldige daf yomi shir. These are all great inyanim. It's not a small thing. But the minute that you notice that your chaver is striving for avodas Hashem, that's a hold of him. Then everybody comes together. And when they come together, the note is found. And it's not a coincidence that she is the one who finds it. Because, as it were, it's not she who finds the note as much as the note is revealed to them because they're finally together. This is why it is so important that we stick together. When we stick together, we pull Rabbeinu to us. When each one is searching on his own, okay, Baruch Hashem, we can get to gewaldige madregas, burning wood that is more precious than gold in regular places, gewaldige asagas. But to find the note, the Shekhinah itself will come to us. This is only when there's achdus, when there's love. Hashem Baruch Hu said in the Zuta, Idra Rabbah, he says, "Anan bechavivus atari milsa." It is with love. All everything that we achieve depends on. The last proof that is needed, funnily enough, that the young man is the Mashiach, that he is the real shidduch of the beauty, the daughter of the emperor. comes after she finds the note. Supposedly, what proof do you want? He said he's looking for the note. We know that the note is here. We know he's crying. And she finds the note. Okay, what else do you want? But that's not the final proof. Maybe he's still some kind of a gold digger adventurer, that heard about it and cries that he's such a that Taivas moment that he must find it and he must, whatever. The final stamp of approval that he is the McCoy is the fact that when she gives him the note and he faints, whatever it is, he gives it back to her and says, forget about it. I won't, you take it, you take her. I won't be able to do it. I'm too tired for this. There could not be a more certain proof that he is the real one, that he's not an imposter, than the fact that he said, it's wonderful, it's gewaldic, but I'm done. I can't do it anymore. This is when she knows that he is the one, with no uncertain terms. And now is her time, her role to pick him up. We all understand that the tzaddik gives us the life we breathe. If we actually are in a proper madrega to understand it and believe in it, then we live a totally different life. But you have to understand that the tzaddik himself has ups and downs. The young man has been subjected to immense persecutions, betrayals, hardships. He was sentenced to die for no reason. His life was saved on condition that he goes on an exile and never comes back. He has the note, he loses the note. He tries to see something, with other kings, whatever it is, everybody betrays him. Then he comes and his own betrothed she does not believe him. The tzaddik is tired, gets tired of being makar of people to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Well, that's the only thing that I have to do. So makar of Yidden, I have my own avodah. The asogas that the tzaddik has on every single breath that he takes is greater than anything that we can achieve in a lifetime. Moshe Rabbeinu also said to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, why are you doing this to me? What do I need this for? Did I give birth to this nation? That you're telling me carrying him like a babe in your arms? Because Baruch says, okay, I'll give you 70 people, Nevi'im. They'll carry the load with you. The Talmidim need to lift the das of the tzaddik. When Rabbeinu was, I believe, it was one of his trips, and he told it, with the trips that he went. I think this is when his wife passed away at that time, and Rabbeinu was alone with his wife. I think in Limburg, in the town of big doctors, and she will go to one doctor, to another doctor, whatever it is. And Rabbeinu was all alone, and he wrote a letter to the Hasidim, b'shum peni v'ofen, not to come to him. For the days, that I think it was Shavuos, Shavuos was one of the 3 times that he used to come to him. And nobody knew who Rabbeinu was at that time. But Reb Nosson, when he got the note that the Rebbe says, do not come, the Rebbe says, whatever the tzaddik says you must do, except when he tells you not to come. So Reb Nosson immediately told everybody, we're going. So everybody went. Now, the Gabbai in the shul where Rabbeinu was, he had no idea who Rabbeinu was, but he had the feeling that he's dealing with somebody who's very special. So he was there, and he was servicing, he was doing all kinds of stuff for Rabbeinu. And one day, so before Yontev, a few days before Yontev, he came to Rabbeinu and he was complaining. He says, why are you complaining? So he says, I don't know. There's a whole bunch of people that are out-of-towners. They've never been here before. And they went to the Besmedrash, the Davening Besmedrash, and they're screaming to high heaven. They're davening to the point that the walls are shaking. So Rabbeinu smiled. These are his people. Rabbeinu's daughter, Ras Odel, Zer Sadekas Levrachim, was sitting with another woman, and the Hasidim were there, I think that after Rabbeinu was nifter, they were there, thinking Shalishudas, I think. So the other woman told her, I don't know if they already benched or not. So Ras Odel said, my father's people, if they would have benched, we would have heard it. We would know. When people see that somebody else, my friend, is looking, he's searching, he's thirsty, time to get together. Time to get together, and time for the one who is below to pick up the one who is giving to him. Because it's a give and take. It's not just one-way street that we're mekablim and that's it. The avodah of the tzaddik is incomplete without us. Rabbeinu is going around the Olam Haba. I don't know if you, some of you might remember, most of the people who see this here probably don't know what I'm talking about. But years ago, many years ago, there used to be movie theaters. They're probably still are, I don't know. Anyhow, there used to be movie theaters. And that was where the great entertainment was. And there were salespeople or saleswomen who go around with a tray, tied with a strap to their neck. And on the tray, they would have, at that time, they were smoking, so there was cigarettes, there was bubble gum, there was chocolate, whatever it is, and they would go around the theater selling there were who wants cigarettes, who wants chocolate, who wants chewing gum, who wants candy. He says Rabbeinu is going in Olam Habo with a tray of his people, of all the chidushim. Look, Rebbeinu Shalom, what these people, what these Jews I'm bringing to you. It's Rabbi von Weiss, it's Rabbi Hillel Rosenfeld, the Rav Mendel, it's me, and Kal V'chomer people that are greater than us. What chidushim, gewaldige Zach is going around with the tray. Check out what I'm bringing to you. The tzaddik needs you. Bezrat Hashem, we will continue next week. Hopefully toward the end of the Maisa, unless we find something to go into that will take us longer. But in Yutz Hashem, we will meet here again on Wednesday night. Likutei again, 8 o'clock, not 9 o'clock. And I would like to